Let's have a look at our overall shot once again. We have highlighted the drawn city inside. We have bright buildings outside. So now it is necessary for us to light our model in the shot somehow.
Hello, my friends. Today we start a new session about set lighting in photography. We will shoot two setups from one position, each with totally different looks and atmospheres. Here's how we do it. So I suggest we look around our location first. We have a window here, which will be in most of the photo, the biggest part of it. And it's interesting that we can see the business center of our city, Moscow City. It would be a shame not to include it in our photo. The first setup will be calm and peaceful. It will be the image of a businesswoman who is hard at work. And to connect the background and foreground in our photograph, our model is wearing traditional striped clothes, which will complement the skyscraper background. Let's move on to the lighting. The main lighting in the first setup will be outdoor daylight. Today we are rather lucky as we have a cloudy sky and as a consequence diffused lighting, which is very convenient to work with. If we had bright sunlight through the window, we would definitely have difficulties, because we would have to fill out the bright sunlight with much bigger light sources indoors. Luckily today, everything is going well. The daylight from the window will be our main light source. There are two more windows in the room, but we cover them with blackout curtains to avoid unnecessary light sources. When we look at our model, you can see the amount of light that we are getting from the daylight. You can see that we need additional lighting, so our model won't be in silhouette. We need to show detail of the model's face and interior in this setup. Today, I'll be using Dedo light bicolor LED light sources. I'll explain why. We have two absolutely different moods to photograph, day and night. The LED light sources are good because you can easily change the temperature of the colors, from cold light to warm light. And it would be good for us to use daylight with cold shades of the light, and warm light for the evening light.
Модуляцию прибора, которая, как мне кажется, оптимальна для светодиодных источников.
This LED Dedo light has variable color temperature and is powered by a battery, which means we can move this fixture very easily. Very handy indeed.
Мне кажется, что в данном случае это самый правильный вариант.
Let's discuss why we need additional light. We really need to see the model's face and some detail in the shot, so we require more lights. We cannot light at the front, as the window behind me will reflect any light sources.
And we don't want to have to clear it away in Photoshop afterwards.
С двух сторон кадра мы будем использовать
So we will use soft lighting from both sides of the room. We use them to simulate lights which come from within the room. Let's see how we can get it. So guys, the first fixture we will use is Felloni LED panel,
для удобства,
which for convenience will also be powered by battery.
И очень важно, конечно, что
Again, it is really important that we can set the light temperature of this panel. I'll show you how it looks. In this case, I can vary the color temperature with one of the dials.
И для того, чтобы поддержать естественное освещение из окна,
In order to match the daylight from the window, we have to select a cool tone of light.
когда мы светим данным светом напрямую,
When we use this light directly, in my opinion, we get too much hard light and plenty of shadows, because we have a lot of LEDs in this fixture.
у нас огромное количество открытых светодиодов. Для того, чтобы справиться
So to solve this problem, we will put a diffuser on this panel.
Выглядит это примерно вот таким образом. И через подобный рассеиватель мы
This will clear away the multi-shadow effect
получим более
and will give much softer and more regular light.
Сейчас вы можете видеть в
Now,
кадре
you can see the light we
который
get from this fixture.
дает нам этот прибор. Итак, вторым источником мы будем использовать прибор жесткого света, и он нам нужен для того, чтобы подсветить небольшие детали в кадре. Модель у нас
We can see our model is wearing black stockings in this composition. At the moment, her legs almost blend into the window board. The detail and items on the table are also invisible. So we use an additional lighting source and again select a cool light temperature.
На температуру холодного света. Шторками мы отрегулируем направление света таким образом, чтобы у нас освещение не попадало туда, где нам...
We also use the barn doors to control the direction of the light, in a way that we highlight only legs, books, and a part of the window board, so that we do not have any black holes.
черных провалов. Вот вы сейчас можете увидеть, я включу и выключу прибор, как работает этот свет и для чего он нужен.
Now you see how this light really works and why we use it. I suggest we now look around the overall composition to analyze what we have done well and what we need to add. I think the left side of the lighting is enough and it is placed correctly.
Модель мы расположили таким
Our model is sitting so that her face is contrasted. I mean, her profile is highlighted enough against the dark window frame.
располагался на фоне темной рейки. Но, как мне кажется,
However, in my opinion, we don't have enough light at the right side of the shot,
света, и поэтому нам нужно
so we need some extra lighting.
для чего мы вынуждены использовать еще несколько осветительных приборов. Давайте посмотрим, как мы это сделали. Ну что, давайте разберемся, что же за конструкцию мы тут построили. Дело в том, что с правой части кадра, как мы уже выяснили, нам необходимо дополнительное освещение.
We cannot light directly with a hard light, because it would look unnatural. We need another soft light.
Проще всего это сделать
The easiest way to reflect a hard light source is with a reflector.
Отражатели я чаще всего
I usually use this sun bounce reflector. This is a very convenient device on a frame.
удобно это тем,
It is really useful because you can easily set the light at any angle we need.
под любым градусом и углом, который нам необходим. И в этот отражатель
I've punched in some hard light sources onto this reflector.
света
Just like the other lights, we select a cool daylight setting.
с синим цветовым спектром, с холодным.
We are pointing 3 light fixtures onto the one reflected. One fixture was not powerful enough, so we had to use more fixtures to get the brightness we needed.
чтобы получить тот объем света, который был нам необходим. И сейчас взглянув на
Looking at our model, you can now see how we're making rather natural highlights from the reflected light.
даем рефлексы, которые будут
We
выглядеть
can make the
достаточно
light
естественно.
more or less bright and make the exact highlights that we need.
Менее яркий, и подбивать тень ровно на ту количественную характеристику, которая нам нужна. Вот я думаю, что примерно в таком качестве.
Well, I suppose this will be enough to make a good image. Now it's time to make a photo shoot itself. Afterwards, I suggest reviewing our shot once again. You can now see the whole structure of the light, and remember that firstly, the main light source we have is daylight from the window. Secondly, we made highlights from an LED panel and a reflector, to which we pointed our hard light, focusable LED fixtures. Well, we made the first shot, but for the second one, we need to wait until the evening, when it will be dark outside and lights in the building are switched on. So we had a break. Now is the right time to light our second shot. You can see the general setup, and let me tell you about it. It is nighttime outside, and the lights in the buildings are now switched on. We decided to make the shot a little more childlike and fanciful. With a yellow marker, we drew a kind of children's town on the window. The atmosphere will look much more cozy and private in this shot. We will light lots of candles to link the background outside the window with the items indoors, just like we did in the first shot.
Ту часть сюжета, которая у нас находится за окном, и ту часть сюжета, которая у нас внутри. И сцепим мы в данном случае композицию не с помощью графики, а с помощью огней. То есть у нас будет очень много огоньков.
We have many lights inside, just like many lights in a building outside. And now we will turn off all the lights in this room to see what the building lights do, and to base our lighting plan on that.
Ну что же, вот сейчас вы можете видеть те самые изначальные условия, с которых мы начали строить свой кадр. В двух словах объясню, почему именно так.
Let me explain. The light we have now is the evening light of the city. It is the only lighting that we can't change. We can't make it brighter or dimmer. So that's why I will start building our lighting setup around this evening light. As you can see, we have absolute darkness at the front and glowing lights behind. So we definitely need additional lighting. The first thing we do is highlight the pictures we have drawn on the window. We will use many lighting fixtures because we need to highlight separately every single detail of the drawing. Using many fixtures means we don't light unnecessary elements in the shot.
А именно какие-то лишние детали на подоконнике, слишком много будет света на
like the window frame, which would dominate the picture if lit.
рамы, которая начнет в кадре доминировать.
So this time we will use very accurate light sources and place them precisely. Let's try.
Давайте попробуем.
Firstly, we should talk about the equipment we use to light our drawn city. Each part of the drawn city, in each section of the window, we use a single light source, namely a Dedo Light D-LED4 LED hard light with barn doors. Let's switch them on and see what happens. In this case, it's absolutely logical for us to use the tungsten setting of this bicolor light, as it will mix well with the big city lights outside. I will now change the color temperature, and you will be able to see how it differs. With the cool daylight setting, I don't think the image works, whereas the warmer tungsten setting blends in nicely with the background. In this case, we focused the fixture very precisely. We didn't make the beam too wide, and we didn't open the shutters, because that would illuminate the whole area and we would see too many needless items in the shot. That is why we focused the beam as small as possible, lighting very precisely with just a little circle of light to keep stray light away from the window frame.
Постараемся подсветить только город и рисунок на стекле.
We will use 4 lights, one for each window. Let me switch them on one by one, so you can see how the shot will change. This is the first device. The second device on the second part of the painting. Third part, which is right above our model. And the fourth part on the drawn city. Now you can see that we've highlighted the whole drawn pictures in the shot. Here I would like to pause and talk about some points. The truth is that the physical location of these devices is really important. The 4 devices, which highlight separate parts of the drawn city, are placed rather far from the framed shot. This is a key aspect. If we placed them closer and pushed a little further into the shot, the light would reflect, in this case, in the black window, just like a mirror. And we would see this in the final image. Of course, we try to avoid this, as nobody wants to do extra work in Photoshop. So in this situation, it's very important that we use such accurate lighting fixtures that we can focus really well. So we can place it correctly and as far away as needed for the shot. I could have placed the device even 5 meters further if it was needed, and still be able to highlight the place we actually wanted. Let's have a look at our overall shot once again. We have highlighted the drawn city inside. We have bright buildings outside. So now it is necessary for us to light our model in the shot somehow. However, in this situation, I don't think we need to use a classic key light or filler light, as we wanted to make our shot cozy and realistic. I think it's better to make something unusual and add some irregular splashes of light. Let's think how we can do this. If you remember, during one of our previous sessions, we used a light that gave us rather random splashes in the shot. We made it by putting a large bottle in front of the light. This time, I will use the Dedo light projection attachment with a steel gobo holder. The projection attachment allows us to project through a gobo and focus the light very accurately. What is a gobo? Generally, it's a round metal mask with different cutout elements. This time, I've chosen this gobo with curved chaotic horizontal stripes. Let me put this gobo in the device and you'll see how it works. So we put the gobo into the lens and then put the lens on this hard light device. switch it on.
И изначально,
Generally, gobos are used focused, but I think in this case it would look awkward and unnatural.
но, как мне кажется, в данном случае это будет выглядеть достаточно нелепо и абсолютно неестественно. Я как раз люблю использовать маски гобо в расфокусированном состоянии света.
I prefer to use a gobo defocused, because then the splashes look much softer. Again, we use a D-LED4 light head set to tungsten. This is the way we have our splashes of light in the shot. You can see it on the shot right now. Now we will light all the candles on the window board. I assume this will be more than enough. We cannot be 100% sure. Let's do it. So all of our candles are now lit, and finally we have the lighting we're looking for. We won't try to make the light more classical and ordinary, because our final picture will become more of advertising and will be drained of its contents. And as a result, the atmosphere would be lost. The light is a bit unusual, but I think with the help of this lighting, the shot will be vivid and deep. Let's make the final photo shoot and see the result. Dear friends, to sum up, I've shown you that using just one location and changing the light, and of course using your imagination, you can make an enormous amount of photos and share your thoughts with the viewer. We film these lessons to help you to realize your ideas. Shoot, create, and share your imagination. Thank you very much for watching us, and stay tuned. So guys, let's sum up with the equipment we used during our lesson today. Today we had D-LED4 LED light heads. All of them were focusable and bicolored, which allowed us to manage the color temperature of the lights quite easily. For our convenience, these lights were powered by battery today, no cables lying around. We used standard 8-leaf barn doors and a projection attachment with a steel gobo holder to project patterns. And in the first shot, we also used a bicolor Felloni and a silver sunbounce reflector.